Hi, it's Asher Latta here, and today I want to talk a little bit about follow-up. I want to share a personal story with you. It was about 20 years ago. I was conducting a 2-day sales course in my hometown of Manchester. And we were in a hotel. The program was on a Friday and Saturday, and we had about 15 delegates on the course. The usual suspects: we had radio salespeople, we had some engineers, some IT, we had some hoteliers. But right at the bottom of the list was 2 dentists. And I was sort of racking my brains why 2 dentists would take a sales course with me. But I got to find out that these 2 dentists were staying in the hotel the night before the course. Now, the 2 dentists were called Neil and one was called Barry. And I got to meet them the night before. I met them socially for a drink. And I asked these 2 dentists, why are you taking a sales course with me? I just don't understand. And it was amazing what they told me. They told me many things that evening. They told me they were great dentists. They could place veneers, they could do cosmetic treatment, they could place implants, they could do all the technical stuff. What they weren't particularly good at was communicating it or selling it to the patients. So often they were taught too technical, they weren't good at talking about money, they'd reduce the price of treatments in the head, the usual challenges that most dentists have today. They took part in the course, and on the second day when we finished, it was about 6:30 p.m. And as they left the room, I said to both the dentists, wish you all the best, keep in touch. In fact, if I don't hear from you, I'll give you a ring in 6 weeks' time. 6 weeks later, I'm lying on my couch and I'm thinking, do you know what? I wonder how those 2 dentists are getting on with the course. Should I ring them? Should I not? Should I ring them? Should I not? Anyway, to cut a long story short, I decided to step outside the comfort zone and ring them up. Am I glad I did? I first spoke to Barry, who told me his treatment plan acceptance had increased, more patients were saying yes, his implants, he was placing more implants than ever before, and he wasn't reducing the price of treatment anymore. I then rang up Neil, and Neil more or less told me exactly the same benefits. But the big thing Neil told me was, for the first time ever, I'm delivering the dentistry that I've trained to do. I've got the kit out of the box, I'm using it. Your program is the missing link. I kept in touch a week later, and again, the same results and the same levels of enthusiasm. But except this time, both of them came back and said, would I deliver a course just for dentists? An ethical sales and communication course? Because they told all their friends and they had, they wanted to take part in a similar type of program. So 6 months later, I walked into a room with 26 dentists, and Neil and Barry, they came back and helped me deliver this program. They gave all the examples of the material because I wasn't a dentist at the time. And from those 26 dentists, I followed up, kept in touch, and basically the rest is history. And now, as we look forward 20 years later, I've now delivered this program to well over 8,500 delegates worldwide. I've written 3 books, I've written produced numerous DVDs, I've spoken all over the world. And last year I spoke at a conference in Holland, which was opened by the King of Holland. Now, would have those things happened if I hadn't made those 2 follow-up calls? Do you know what? I'm not sure it would. So why am I talking about this? Well, I'm not talking about how to brag or what I've achieved. But my question to you is this, do you follow up with patients at home who've had treatment with you? Do you make those courtesy phone calls, 5 or 6 courtesy phone calls a day? If you think you did this every single day over a whole week, months and year, you could be close touching thousands of patients. And just think about the goodwill it would do for your practice. Your patients will be delighted to receive the phone calls, and you can enhance and keep that relationship strong. Maybe another situation where you can keep in touch and follow up with patients. Let's say, for example, a patient comes for consultation, and let's just say, for example, they don't buy the treatment there. It doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to buy it there. It's just at this moment in time, the investment of both time and money, the problems in their life, doesn't justify them spending that money or the time it might take to have that treatment. It doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to take it. It might be in 6 months or 9 months down the line when they're in a better situation where actually the problem they're facing in their life justifies the investment they're going to make. So keep in touch with them that way. You could either do a newsletter, phone call every so often, or invite them to an open evening. Or maybe you can educate them on an ongoing basis. But the real message for this video here is to please keep in touch with your patients. I still do this today to my clients, and it's still one of the best things I can do for my business. So it's good to talk. Keep in touch. Sure.
It sounds like an obvious thing to say, but too many candidates were turning up not knowing about what you were looking for, what you did, and they had a general idea without having done the research in advance. So